More nata maria koutou katoa. He mihi, he tangi mō rātou kua wehe. Tihei moriora. He mihi hoki ki sani makaere mā, mō ona airinga no rea takoto e tohoa. Streaming virtually from our homes on behalf of the Korimako or Taranaki Sports Show, we have with us today a professional athlete who has experienced the ups and downs of professionalism in her chosen sport. Gull, the professional surfer I've referred to her as, who has travelled the world pursuing her dreams. E mihi kuana ki a koe, Paige. We have Paige Hareb, folks. A big welcome to you, Paige. Welcome and thank you for being available today.
Kia ora, John. Thank you.
You are Taranaki, New Plymouth born. Live in Oakura. Travelled to most of the top surf spots in the world in the last 13 years. What can you tell us about how this all started?
I think it started way back when I was about 6 years old, and my dad surfed. He was really into it, and he just tried to take me out every day after school. Me and my best friend Anita Crawford and our mums would go there every day after school and just play at the beach every day, and started with a bodyboard, and then I started trying to stand up on the bodyboard and just went from there.
Every day after school, were there any days where you didn't go to school because you wanted to go surfing like some of my Waitara colleagues did?
No, to be honest, there were a couple, but not too many. My mum and dad were pretty adamant that I had to go to school as well. So, I was lucky when I got a day off.
Cool. As a child being by the sea, having dad, as you've mentioned, Mike, encourage you to surf, being a self-minded person, what made you decide a career in surfing when you had so many other talents in sports? Can you tell us about that situation?
Yeah, I grew up playing a whole lot of different sports, and I liked all of them. Soccer, basketball, tennis. I even did ski racing. And surfing was more like the fun one on the side. Because I was going good in all the other sports, but just surfing was almost like a stress relief for me. And it wasn't until I was about 13 or 14, a sponsor rang me up and asked if I wanted free clothes and stickers and for surfing. That was the first point where I thought, so maybe I can make a career or something out of surfing. Cool.
Now, one of your sponsors was FCS, and when I looked into what that meant, it's got something to do with fins, either 3 or 5. On your boards, did you have 3 fins, 5 fins? What's the difference? What did you prefer? And what's the design of your board now?
Yeah, most people, especially in competitions, ride 3 fins, which they call a thruster. And then there's different setups like the twin fin, only 2, and then the quad, which is 4. It's very rarely 5. Maybe if you're Kelly Slater and you put the 5th one in. The thruster, so the 3 fins, that's the most consistent for most surfers use that, and it's the most consistent.
Does that sort of give you more grip on the top of the wave, a bit like a propeller? You can have a 4-fin or a 5-fin propeller to make you go faster.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. And then the fins, you can have 3 fins, but it gets so technical. You can all have all different sizes and the sweep of them as well. It gets pretty technical, and it's kind of just up to how it feels for you, for each individual.
Cool. Can you tell us something about your schooling and some of your other interests other than the surfing, and then sort of what you have to do to sort of keep fit for surfing, because it's not as if you can just look at the sea and say, it looks pretty good. and then just go out there and surf. There's preparation. Can you give our viewers a bit of background in terms of that, what you have to prepare for and how?
Yes, it was schooling like back in the day. I feel like I haven't been to school for ages. I went to Owakura Primary, and then I went to New Plymouth Girls. And yeah, that was nearly 15 years ago now. And pretty much went straight from high school into doing competitions internationally. And the year after, when I was 18, I qualified for the World Championship Tour. And yeah, I was on that for 6 consecutive years, got knocked off for a year or two, and then got back on again for another couple of years. And then, yeah, now the last couple of years has pretty much been, coming up 2 years because of COVID. And so through this last lockdown, I decided to start doing my real estate papers.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
house prices going up, are they?
Studying again after all these years.
Are you going to put the house prices down or what?
Hope so. Yeah.
Okay, now that's awesome. I can remember 15 years ago, I came home from fishing, Terry Tamati and I, and your car was parked in the driveway, and I said, I wonder what Paige is doing here. Of course, you're catching up with Corey Lee, and you were both at high school or just finished high school at that point in time. So since then, we've kept track of you, Terry and I, and the sports show in terms of your development and all the events. But, you know, you're all over the world. Can you tell us about some of those places you've been to, places and faces, the events that you really liked, and maybe some of the food you had to contend with?
Yeah, I've definitely been lucky to see a lot of the world. But then, yeah, over the years, the events are at the same places in the same countries. So then I did try and almost tag a separate trip on to other places that I hadn't been to before, because a lot of the girls, they do just go to the event site pretty much for the week, and all they see is that beach and that hotel. And they pretty much could be anywhere in the world, and they haven't seen the country or experienced the culture. So I definitely tried to make that a priority of mine, and yeah, experience everywhere I went. And my favourite places, I reckon I could live probably in south of France. Is pretty nice. California is always fun to go for a couple of weeks, and then of course Australia feels kind of like my second home over on the Gold Coast. It's pretty nice.
Talking about California, the WSL was held in yesterday, I think it was, at Carissa 1, I think. Was that? Yeah. Were you supposed to be there?
No, I am supposed to be in California next week for another competition. Yeah.
Okay, what happened there? Is that you pulled out because of the MIQ situation? Can you tell our viewers about it?
Mm-hmm. I was pretty keen to go because I've already been over in El Salvador in June and had both my vaccinations, and so it pretty much came down to not being able to get back into New Zealand. I was going away for 3 months and hoping to come back in December, but I couldn't get an MIQ spot for December, or they didn't have it open, and I just didn't like the thought of going away and having no idea when I could come back into my home country. And all the stories I've heard of some people taking 6 to 12 months to try and get home. So I just thought I would, stay home for this year and start fresh next year.
Okay, talking about your involvement in the pro circuits, can you give the viewers some insight in terms of some of the competitors that you were up against?
I think it was, it's always been very competitive. I think it was probably almost extra competitive when I was younger. just because we all wanted it so much. But now we've traveled together for so many years, and we're like a big family. You see everyone at the same event like for the whole year, so we've got pretty close, and we've made some good friends, but it's still definitely competitors once we're in the water.
Okay, now talking about the surf spots that you've been to in the world, what about coming back to Taranaki, New Zealand? Where are the surf spots for you, locally initially and then nationally? Where that's?
It's a secret.
Oh, okay.
I love coming back to Taranaki. It's it will always be home for me, and just because it's got the coastline's got so many amazing point breaks, and you can kind of, I guess the way it's shaped, you can kind of go around the whole coast with whatever direction the wind's going. So it is pretty good for a surfer here in Taranaki. And my favourite ones along the coastline would probably be Rocky Point or Stent Road.
Now, Stent Road, that belongs, that's the area in the rohe of Ngāti Moiahu. So, it's good to know that that's a good surfing spot, because I've been there frequently and watched all the surfers way out. But you get some good breaks way out, don't you,
Yeah, it gets pretty big there.
I was looking at one of your visits that you went on your four-wheel and you went down. It looked like Stent Road, and I was wondering, that's why I've asked you, whether it was in the Ngāti Moiahu rohe. Sweet as. That's good. What happened in El Salvador? Did you eat too much chocolate?
Yeah.
After your event?
No, I think they ended up saying that they thought it was just really bad dehydration. It was the first day that I hadn't had electrolytes, and it's super hot over there. And I surfed for like 3 hours, and I guess was just silly and didn't have enough water, and next thing it hit me at dinner time.
Right. So other than not taking enough of electrolytes, what other things would you advise surfers who are inexperienced but developing? What are some guidelines for them to be aware of from your experience?
I guess, it depends whether if you're a competitive surfer or just doing it for the lifestyle. The biggest thing is to make sure you're fit and well aware of the ocean. The ocean is, very humbling, and you need to know where the rips are and need to be able to read it. But it's a hard one. Other than being taught maybe by your lifeguards in your local area, it's definitely just experience, and the more time you have out there, the more you learn. But always go with a mate and make sure you have someone to keep an eye on you. And competitor wise, I think if you're young and getting into it, as long as you're having fun and enjoy it and really want to do it, then keep doing it. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Having a mate. When you were on tour with the 12 of you, was there? Did you have a manager?
18 of us.
How many?
There was 18, top 18.
Okay, did you have a sort of manager or to sort of look after you? Or were you basically left on your own?
Pretty much we're left on my own. A few of the other girls had managers, but no, I did all my flights and booked all my rental cars, accommodation and everything. And I've got it pretty down pat now, and a little bit of a control freak. So I like to control that and know that it's my fault if I stuff up, and can't blame anyone else.
Right. Well, as a professional sports person, you need to be a control freak in terms of looking after yourself. Competitors like Carissa Moore and Sally Fitzgibbons, did you have to face them at any time? Compete with them or against them also?
A lot of times, especially Sally Fitzgibbons, she's pretty much the same age as me, and we grew up together doing all the Pro Junior series in Australia. I think in the under 20 world champs, she won and I got second to her. And then we both qualified for the world championship tour the following year. So yeah, we've kind of been along the same timeline of our career path. But yeah, she's an amazing surfer, competitor, and a very close friend as well.
When you're out on the wave, sort of say alongside Carissa, and you're waiting for the big one, what runs through your mind, knowing that you're competing against it? Because I was watching her surfing last night, and I was wondering, they were in a sort of situation like that, and I was wondering how you would sort of, what you would have been thinking.
Yeah, I mean, every time I come up against Carissa, she's the best in the world, and I almost like that better because I like being the underdog and you have nothing to lose. So yeah, going up against someone like Carissa is, you really do just have to give it everything. And yeah, it almost doesn't hurt as bad if you do lose, and it's an amazing feeling if you do beat them.
Okay, what were some of the fun and maybe stressful aspects of touring?
I guess my parents were lucky enough to come to a lot of my events.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, we did always try and go off on side little, I guess, family holidays and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was pretty cool, and yeah, been very lucky because of that.
Okay, what's your advice to young surfers, like grommets, I think they refer to them as, who want to be like you? Some do's and don'ts for them?
Yeah, I guess like I said before, just only do it if you're having fun and enjoying it. That's, I think, when your best results come, when you are having fun. But still, obviously, you have to work hard and be persistent at it as well. Yeah, everyone thinks that surfing's the best job in the world, which it is, but sometimes it does feel like a job too. So yeah, you got to take the good with the bad and just go hard.
Okay, when you took up surfing as a career way back, those years ago, you must have had a dream. What was that dream, and have you achieved it?
Yeah, I think surfing was still so new way back in the day, and I didn't even really know right until like I was 16 or 17 that I could actually make a career out of it. So my goals kind of moved and changed as I went along. Yeah, I wanted to go to the Junior Worlds. I ended up getting second at that, and then that kind of the next step was to go on the qualifying series to qualify for the championship tour, and I did that within 1 year, so it all happened pretty quick. And then yeah, to be on the world championship tour for 8 years is more than a dream come true. Cool. I did not expect to be on it for that long at all. So yeah, now the goals keep changing. I wanted to make the Olympics, which I just missed out on, unfortunately. Yes. But I've already made a new goal to try and work towards the next Olympics, the Paris ones, which the surfing will actually be in Tahiti at Chopu. Cool. And then, yeah, I want to get back on the qualifying series next year to try and re-qualify for the championship tour again. So I'm definitely not ready to quit yet.
That's good. I was going to ask about whether you're wanting to head to the 2024 Olympics. So it's good that you've indicated you want to. So we wish you all the best. And just to conclude our corridor page, is there anything you'd like to just say to our viewers just to round off at this point in time?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you, especially to everyone in Taranaki for all your support. Yeah, you've been there through my whole career, and yeah, thank you so much. Everyone in Taranaki's amazing and so nice, and hopefully I can do all of you guys proud and get back on the tour.
Ka pai, Paige. Thank you. On behalf of the Koremako Sports Show, hosts Jerry Tamati and Kiriani Taite, and all the staff here at Ngā Motu, we thank you for being so humble, softly spoken, Paige, and fun to interview, and being a role model for women athletes in New Zealand. Nō reira, hone niwa tēnei, hei konei, hei kona, noho ora mai. Kia ora. Thank you, Paige. Have a good day.